Hey there friends, Nibs again. Out in the garage doing a little bit of goofing around tonight. And it's Monday and it's still wet and rainy and raw out. So we are not going to be going out again today. But what I wanted to give you guys a little look at today is I just picked up this Barra 1886. And you guys hopefully saw my unboxing video with it. And it is not a bad gun. It's actually a pretty nice little gun to shoot, but there's a couple things I'd like to change about it. The main thing is the trigger was absolutely horrendous. I measured it, and here's a picture of the scale before I measured it, or when I measured it in the before state, and it was 6 pounds, 9.7 ounces, and it really felt heavier than that because it was really creepy and mushy. And I've come up with a pretty simple way to make that trigger pull a lot better. And I'm going to show you what I did here. And this is a little bit complicated, so I would warn against, if you're not very handy, maybe you want to shy away from this. But if you're at all handy, got a Phillips head screwdriver and you need a number 2 Phillips and a number 0 Phillips, and a spring assortment from your local hardware store, you'll be able to do this one pretty easy. So let's go ahead and get down to the tabletop and I'll show you what to do. So it's actually kind of counterintuitive, but so this side with the actual bolt on it is going to have all of this stuff stay attached to it, but we do need to take out a couple of screws on this side. So the screws we're going to take out on the bolt side are this one back here on the back of the stock, and keep in mind the order that these come out, because they're all different. This one's a different size than this one, and a different size than that one. And on the other side, you'll see when I take them out. Let me grab my number 0 Phillips. So there's 2 tiny little screws right here that attach the upper half of the 2 sides of the receiver together. And those kind of just stay in that hole when I had it apart already. And so once you do that, you can flip it over, and so now you have to take out this screw, and I think this one too, but I'm not 100% sure about that, but we'll take it out anyway. It doesn't hurt anything. So that one is the same as the other one in the back. And then this one is a long machine screw. Much longer than the other ones. And then this one is another coarse threaded, like threaded into plastic type of screw, but it's a much fatter thread pattern than the 2 from out of the stock. So once you got that off, it takes a little wiggling, but the stock and left side of the receiver should come loose. Let's see here. There we go. So now set this off to the side. That's the stock and the left side of the receiver. And don't lose this piece here. This is the BB door. You'll have to put that back in later. But what we're going to be doing, and here is the original spring, and right here just in front of the trigger there's a little shelf and a spring right down under here. And what you want to do is take the old spring out. It's not terribly heavy, but it's much heavier than it needs to be, and find a lighter spring in your spring assortment there that matches the diameter pretty closely of that one. Put that in there, and really that is all I've done to it. While I've got this apart, one of the things I'm thinking about doing, if there's room, is to mount a little piece of some sort of optic rail up on the top here. Try to figure out a way to fasten that in there without interfering with the travel of the bolt here. So, but I'll work on that down the road. But so now to get this back together, take your left side with the stock, get your little BB door back up into the slot there, hold it in with your finger while you're bringing the two halves back together. And they should marry right up, and then your BB door should work. Now you take reverse order with your screws. There's your long machine screw, your thicker, coarse. It's kind of like a wood, almost like a wood screw type of thread. So a trick that I learned a long time ago from working on electronics is when you're screwing into plastic like this, you put your screw in place, and this will go a long way to save your plastic from getting stripped out. Once you got your screw in place, you turn it backwards until you feel the screw fall off the back side of the thread right there. You'll actually feel like a little click, and that way you know you're right at the beginning of the threaded hole with the thread, and it should screw in nice and easy if you've done it right. If you feel any resistance, you're cutting new threads, and you really want to try again because that will eventually, if the first time it might work okay, but if it's something you end up taking apart a few times, you will eventually strip out those. And it's just become second nature for me working on I work on electronic equipment all the time, and it's just something I've learned to do, and it really so then you just put these two little bitty screws back down in to hold the top half of the receiver back together. Let's just do I'll bring you guys back up here. Oh, sorry about the bobbling around. All right, so now let's just do a quick function test. Safety works. Looks like the hammer's working. Let's do a couple pumps without anything in there. Make sure we're getting air. We're getting air, good. All right, so now, before we were at 6 pounds, 9.7 ounces. Let me get my Lyman trigger gauge out. One thing I did do also, I did verify that this is definitely a rifled barrel, so I would really shy against using a steel BB in this barrel. I mean, if it's all you got, I guess then it would, be what you need to use. But if you've got lead pellets, I do have some lead BBs. We're going to try those down the road, see how they work in this. But for now, I would stick with lead pellets if you have the choice. But so I cocked it. We don't need to put any air in it to really test the trigger. Well, let's see what we got now. So it's a little heavy. I think I pulled a little bit too much into that one. Let me redo that. That was... Alright, so it's reading heavier than I was getting earlier, but it's 4 pounds, 5 ounces, so I've shaved over 2 pounds off the trigger. Before I was getting right around 3 pounds, a little over 3 pounds, but there we go, that's better. Maybe just when I had it apart, maybe just needed a couple of cycles too. That was 3 pounds 6 ounces, 2 pounds 14 ounces. Had it too high up on the trigger. 3 pounds, 0.7 ounces. So very, very good change in the trigger weight. Cut it by over half. I'd say that's pretty good. 3 pounds in a sporting rifle like this is probably really pretty nice. Let's go ahead and we'll wrap it up. I'll take a couple shots across the garage here and finish it up. Oh, got to turn my camera on downrange. Alrighty, so I am back. Got my downrange camera on now, and we'll take a couple of pop shots with the old Barra 1886. Trigger feels a lot nicer now. So the way I load these pellets, you get the pellet on the edge of the tray here, and then you just kind of roll it into the thing, and it usually falls right into the slot. Pretty good for me. I've gotten really pretty good with it. Still doesn't go in there perfect every time, but it's not as bad as we thought it might be. And we'll just take a couple of shots across the garage here and then wrap it up. But this at 3 pounds, this is a much nicer trigger than 6 pounds 9 ounces. All right, let's see if we can hit the pig there. Oh yeah. Oop, I knocked down my 410 shell. I was going to try to hit that one next. It does help if you got the gun kind of either level or maybe even leaning forward just a little bit. You don't want it leaning back, or else I found that the pellet will... she's not going. It will fall down into the... There's a little opening there intended for the steel BBs to come out. All right, I'm gonna hit that 12 gauge shell, hopefully. Nice. All right, let's do one more. I'm gonna hit the can and then we'll get out of here. But this much nicer trigger now. In all of the videos I've watched, that was everybody's biggest complaint, was the horrendous trigger these things have. I did put a little bit of orange paint on the back of the front sight so I can actually see it. All right, let's hit the can. Nice. This is going to be a nice addition to the garage. I'm going to do a little bit of testing with it too. I have some lead BBs, and I'm going to try that and see how they go. I won't load them through the BB loading port though, just because you really kind of rely on the magnet to draw the BBs out of that, and they won't attract to the lead BBs. So anyway, there you go. There is my trigger improvement video for the Barra 1886. I think it's a great improvement, and I don't think you can go wrong. Hope you guys liked the video. Till next time, have a great day.